and welcome to Gloucestershire's Country Matters. My name is Tim Andrews and I'm the County Director for the CPRE here in beautiful Gloucestershire. We are the countryside charity and we do all that we can to help promote, protect and enhance this beautiful county of ours. This is one of a series of talks and conversations that I'll be having with people that are just passionate about our countryside. Today we're in Sheepscombe and we're going to be talking with a lady called Elisabeth Skinner. Now Elisabeth really knows her stuff when it comes to parish councils. I think you're going to enjoy meeting her. Come on, let's go find out. So Elisabeth, thank you so much for inviting me here today to chat to you about what you do with parish councils.
Parish councils, yes.
I think so. So, you know, are you quite big in the parish council world?
I'm not sure about that. What I do is I have been responsible for about 30 years now for an advanced professional qualification for parish and town council clerks.
Right.
And community council clerks in Wales as well.
So what does that actually mean?
So a parish council clerk is the officer of a parish council, and this is a form of local government. So what we are doing is we are training and educating parish and town council clerks so that they can do their job really well.
Right.
And it involves knowing about law, about procedures, about local council finance, about engaging with the local community, and of course, very importantly, about planning.
Right. So, I mean, I've been along to a few parish council meetings, and isn't it just the clerk is just, you know, takes the minutes and things like that? Is that all it is, or is there more to it than that?
That is a very traditional view, and of course it is not true at all. There's a great deal more to it. Sometimes somebody might get appointed as a parish clerk on the understanding that it's a job in a small village for taking the minutes and doing the agenda. But of course it is a great deal more than that. There's a lot of statutory regulation about laws and procedures that are really important about keeping the council on the straight and narrow. The other thing, of course, is that a parish council can represent a very small community, as it does in many rural areas, but exactly the same rules and regulations apply to much larger councils, like, for example, Shrewsbury Town Council, which is very large, a full-time clerk with 80 or so employees and many millions of pounds to manage. So in the training that we do, the courses that we do, the learning is applicable whether you're working for a very tiny rural parish council or a very large town council.
Yeah. And so, I mean, how did you come about this involvement with this qualification?
Good question.
Right.
I started out as a school teacher.
Right.
So I began my career teaching at Brimscombe Primary School near Stroud. I taught for 9 years part-time at Sheepscombe Village School, and I did a degree with the Open University, thinking that I might go into secondary school teaching. It turned out that that wasn't for me, and I started looking around for work in sort of rural development. I got very much involved in the Painswick Village Appraisal in 1988, 89, and applied for a couple of jobs in rural development, and ended up working for what was then GLOSCAT in 1989, helping to deliver a course in higher education for parish and town council clerks. And I have been doing that ever since. And it's been the most amazing career because I love teaching. I'm working with people who are really committed to learning. And we have created through this a whole professional structure of qualifications for parish and town council clerks, mainly since the year 2000, which has, has really been very, very interesting.
Yeah. Because you've been quite instrumental to this whole process of creating this qualification, I think.
Yes, I think so. I admit it.
Because there's someone told me you might have some letters after your name for it.
Yes, yes, New Year's Honours List 2018, I got an MBE.
That's amazing.
For which, I thank my colleagues in the parish council world for showing that appreciation for the work that we've done in creating that professional career development structure for parish and town council clerks.
Yeah. So you really are a leading light, really, for, this qualification.
Don't rub it in.
So who did you meet when you went?
Then Prince Charles.
Right. Marry the King.
And we went to Buckingham Palace. I took my children and one of my grandchildren, and it was an incredible experience, I admit. But whenever I think about it, I have to remember that I forgot to curtsy when stepping back from Prince Charles.
Oh dear.
For which I feel extremely guilty.
Your cards are marked.
They definitely are. But he was very good. He knew about me. He asked me questions in the 1 minute we have about the work I do. And so, yes, it was very good to be appreciated for a career in developing parish council clerks' qualifications.
What an honour. So, you mentioned earlier about planning. And, parish councils, they can often have a bit of a reputation, parish councils, at, controlling planning and they make all decisions. What is the role of a parish council with planning and things?
So, in response to planning applications, they don't have a role in making those decisions, not generally. They are allowed to comment on planning applications, and so they need to know about the planning system and how that works, and they need to know how to put together a good objection if they want to object. And of course, the planning system is very complicated. There's a lot to know and understand, and it's very important that they, if they are going to object, that they object using the right kind of references and showing that they know what they're talking about. But of course, they're not always going to object. Sometimes they will support and encourage and promote development. And one of the most important roles in England that they have now is to conduct a neighbourhood plan. So this is really quite a complex process, and it needs a good deal of technical knowledge and understanding in order to put together a neighbourhood plan. But a good neighbourhood plan worked together with the local planning authority is a useful tool in ensuring that the parish gets the development that it wants, not necessarily what developers want.
Yeah.
That's the potential, that's the ambition. Doesn't always work, but it can work. And I have found that communities doing a neighbourhood plan have a very good idea about where they want to put development and the kind of development that they want, rather than having to react to the kind of development that developers want.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It leads to a lot of fascinating debate, but the important thing is that the parish council, both its councillors and the clerk, have the technical expertise to deal with something like that.
Yeah. And so you would, it sounds like you would recommend parish councils out there to think about the process of a neighbourhood development plan?
I would.
Yeah.
I would. Although I believe that in years to come, it's going to be more important to be involved in creating a design code
Right.
for a community and to influence the design of development. That is certainly on the current government's radar. And already the National Planning Policy Framework is stressing the importance of design. The government has a national design code, and so I would strongly advise people involved in parish councils to become more aware of the National Design Code and the possibility of influencing the design of buildings in the future.
It sounds like there's a lot of ways that the CPRE and parish councils could work together. I mean, how can we do that in terms of planning? Because planning is really important to the CPRE.
Well, I think for a parish council, the parish council needs to know that the CPRE has a great deal of expertise in planning that they can take advantage of. So, for example, we have seen in Gloucestershire, we have seen CPRE provide training in planning for parish and town councils, and I think that is really very useful. It's useful for the parish and town councils to see that CPRE can support them and help them and point them in the right direction for commenting on planning applications, and also for taking part in the discussions involving preparations for a neighbourhood plan, or as we are doing in Stroud at the moment, reviewing the local plan. So I think the expertise that CPRE holds locally is extremely important. By the same token, CPRE can work closely with parish and town councils because, of course, parish and town councils also have a role in the planning system. So CPRE can go to parish councils and ask for help and support. That certainly has worked in the past at the national level, where the National Association of Local Councils has worked with CPRE nationally to produce booklets that advise councils and local communities on commenting on planning applications and taking part in neighbourhood plans.
Yeah, it sounds like there's lots of ways for us to work more closely together, and I think with a bit of guidance from you, we'll get a bit better at that as well. I've got one last question. I don't think I'm the first person to have interviewed you here before on television. I understand that you've done an interview before as well.
Yes, I some time ago now, I had Joanna Trollope sitting on the sofa here with me, and we were talking about Cider with Rosie. It was a book programme, and Joanna was interested in the comparison between the story of the murder in Cider with Rosie that Laurie told and the real story, which we know as a village in Sheepscombe, because the man who was murdered is buried in our cemetery. And as a consequence of that, we investigated the inquest following his death, which of course gives the story in all its more accurate detail, shall we say, than we have in Cider with Rosie. And so, yes, we talked about that on this very sofa.
Yeah. There we go. I mean, it just shows, doesn't it, what a wonderful place Gloucestershire is, with all of its stories and characters.
Oh, goodness me, yes. I mean, yes, I love the local history of the local area. There is so much to tell. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, Elisabeth, thank you so much for agreeing to be interviewed and chat to me today. It's been absolutely fascinating, and I've learned a lot more about the CiLCA qualification and a few other little stories there as well. So this was Gloucestershire Country Matters, and my name is Tim Andrews. I'm the County Director for the CPRE here in Gloucestershire, and we do all that we can to promote, protect and enhance our beautiful countryside. I hope that we'll see you next time for another lovely and interesting instalment and video of Gloucestershire Country Matters.